Hi, this is the video version of our first the vlog. It's not a vlog. She's just gonna giggle the whole time because she can't look at me while making faces. It's one thing when we're just talking, but when there's video proof of what a clown I am, I make her laugh since we first started dating. But anyways, enough about that. Welcome to our podcast slash vlog slash YouTube channel. We're kind of a big deal. So we have 6 subscribers. We're very important. This is episode 30 of the Snow Farms podcast. So today is the 16th of February, 2023. Thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about, since spring, your mind right now, cabin fever, especially up north. I don't miss the Great White North. Miss the people.
Either.
But when you have a really gnarly winter, that first nice warm day, you start thinking about gardens, being outside, not being cold every time you're outside.
Little baby animals running around.
Yeah, not scraping your windows anymore. But so you have gardens and you have chicks. So with chickens, ducks, geese, everything we're going to talk about as far as brooders are pretty much applicable across the board. So you want some baby chickens. We've talked about how to get baby chicks and where to get baby chicks.
Yes, we have.
But now we're going to extrapolate, which is a $5 word for a nickel huge head. Andrea was making fun of the size of my head. It's hurtful. But so you decide to get chicks, whether you got them from a nursery, a local farmer, hatched your own, whatever it is, and you want to keep those. You want to keep your chickens alive. That's the number one thing, is just keeping them alive. Would you agree with that?
Yes, that would be helpful if you want to get eggs.
Dead chickens don't lay a lot, is what Andrew's trying to say. So, well, that's fun. That's good stuff.
No,
this
it's
is
not.
Comedy gold. I've been trying to tell her for years we need to record us loading livestock. We'd already be millionaires.
No, because I would just be swearing. Then you would be.
We can put the adult
swearing.
label on the channel. It'll be fine. But so there's the brooder that you're going to build. It can be, you can go out and make it the Taj Mahal of brooders, or you can make do with what you have. So for us, we've got right now a 75-gallon. It's 5 feet long, 2 feet wide, and about 2 feet deep. So that's our small brooder. As you get a little bit bigger, we have a 150-gallon tank. They're both galvanized. They both rusted through. They don't hold water anymore, but they will hold the chicks. So I wouldn't go with plastic, and I'll tell you why. It's not the plastic's bad for your chickens, it's just the planet. It's the heat lamp and plastic, not a good combination. Where with galvanized metal, it's not going to do anything to it. So find the right size for you. So if you have a small batch of chickens, a 50-gallon tub would be fine for 10 or less. And then the other thing, if you want to go really big, Andrea will have to post those brooder plans.
The Ohio brooder.
The Ohio brooder.
Which is 4x4.
No, it's high in the middle, around on both ends.
Oh my gosh.
She is lucky
joke.
woman. But it is, I built one, I don't even know if it was the same plan or not, but it's super simple. It's basically just a box with legs coming down underneath where your chicks can get in and out, so they can get out of the heat, and go around, scurry about, explore.
Jump on the top.
Absolutely. Especially as they get older. It becomes a jungle gym. But if you are raising them with mixed ages, you can exclude based on size from getting underneath. So you can put their food, you can put their water underneath. And it's tall enough, you can put a full, at least a gallon feeder. And as soon as you go up a couple inches on the blocks under each leg, you can easily put a 5-gallon feeder and water underneath there. So the main thing that you're trying to do with chicks is wind. So if they're not in some place where they're free of wind, you're going to have issues with them living. The next thing is, that's not Andrea snoring. That's the big dog down the ground. If you heard snoring down there. She does fall asleep a lot when I'm talking. The next thing is dry, right? So you've got to keep them dry. You got to keep them out of the elements. So ideally, inside a structure, a barn, a shop, garage, You can do it just out of the wind, out of the rain. Beyond that, they're gonna poop a lot. And there's no peeing really with chickens because it's all one gross little glob. But you have to figure out what you're going to put down as a bedding. So right now we have
Pine shavings and crushed leaves.
Yeah, I bought it's this combo
Leaf
blower
vacuum.
and mulcher. So one direction it's blowing, you flip it around, and it sucks up the leaves. And basically, as it goes through the little motor, it chips them into smaller spaces or smaller pieces. It's okay. It's like $70. It's not a huge deal. If Andrea thinks about it, we'll put a link in here. For a small, we have tons and tons of trees.
Yes.
So honestly, if we were serious about it, we could probably bag with all the bags of feed, fill those with the leaves, and probably never have to buy pine shavings again. So we're going to roll with that and see.
Plus, I feed the leaves to the rabbits.
Right.
And the pigs.
So lots of things there, and free bedding is much better than paying for bedding. But with the chicks, you're going to want to clean it out
Weekly.
Yeah, at least you can probably get away with the first 2 weeks of not cleaning out because they're smaller. But after that, it's got to be weekly. And you can go the route, which I often do, just out of sheer laziness. I'll do it next week and just put a whole bunch more pine shavings on there. Two things can happen. One, you can have this buildup of
ammonia.
Yeah.
Basically.
And it's for all your chickens. That's not good. The other thing is, even if you do it great and all your chickens live, at the end of that, when you've got 8 inches of chicken manure to clean out that's all clumped together in one big solid piece, you're going to deeply regret not doing it every week. Ask me how I know, Andrea.
How do you know that, Russ?
Experience and bad decisions. That's what got me to this point in my life. So what else do we have here on the notes? Heat lamp. So for us, we have a 250 watt red heat lamp. I think the heat lamps are roughly $9. You can get them on Amazon. I'm always paranoid. I like to buy those at
Tractor Supply,
at Woods. Because you can hold it up to your ear. If you hear it rattling around in there, it's no bueno. And just you go to the next one, and you look like that person that's trying to buy fruit. Does that sound right? Yeah. So your actual lamp, the thing behind it, it's going to be silver. It's going to be curved around. Buy the guard, because that will help. And buy one that chickens can't jump through. Because if it's just a big empty, it's just got a couple of pieces of metal and the chickens can still jump through it and put their head through the bulb, that's a loss. Because they're going to do that in the middle of the night on a cold night, and they're all going to freeze to death. Ask me how I know, Andrea.
How do you know, Russ?
Experience and bad decisions. So those are things that I didn't think about early on, because the first week they're just precious, but within a couple weeks they are little just velociraptors running around jumping on everything, Lord of the Flies style.
Yes, our most recent batch of
The
chicks
Bressies
just pecked each other like weird.
Well,
Lord of the Flies style.
Yeah, and the thing there is if you do get them pecking at each other, the thing that we've learned is they're just bored. They need more space where they can run around and do.
Spray them with iodine, so
Yeah.
then they can't see the blazing
Yes,
red
yeah,
that's on their booties.
The purple spray, it's great. What else do we have here to talk about? It's going to be warm, and the thing that I want when you're looking, so there's it's not a clove hitch, it's 3 circles around the string. You pull it down, you go around again, and then you can move the.
He's talking about a knot in case you
It is a knot. Instead of a clove
not
hitch.
aware of what he was talking about.
Who's got bad puns now? Not aware of my not puns. But it allows you to, and I use paracord, it allows you to move the lamp up and down. And what you're looking for is the perfect warmth is where they're not bunched together underneath it. They're not warm. You want them in a ring spread out, because the center is too warm and the outside is where they want to be. So if somebody gets really cold, they go in that center, but it spreads them out and they're not going to murder each other by being on top of each other.
Squeezing each other.
So it seems kind of weird, and it goes against what you would think early on. But you wanted that heat lamp down there where they spread out. And then every week, so it says 5 degrees cooler per week, just move the light up. And they'll figure it out. They're going to feather out when they feather out. And the big thing, the next step is at a month, ours are usually feathered out enough that we put them in an outdoor brooder. Andrea, because can't say crack smoking, can we anymore? No.
Well, you just did,
okay.
so I think it's okay.
Due to my immense volume of crack I smoked, I'm like, where do we put the chicks? Where do we put the chicks? Because we had 54 eggs in the brooder. So Andrew's like, why don't we just put them in the greenhouse in the Muscovich tractor? I'm like, brilliant. Yeah, it was genius. So if you have a greenhouse or hoop house, it doesn't matter how big or how small it is, it gets them out of the wind. And that's the number one thing for young chicks, that they really struggle to keep heat on with direct wind. So our greenhouse, there's no wind. At night, we've got a lamp on them right now. During the day, we're turning it off. And they're doing double duty for us because the patch they're on, we're going to move them this weekend, they've cleared out all the grass. So it's ready for planting. So we're going to move them, and by the time, because they're not putting down that much manure, we're going to just put that in the soil, get on with it. But whatever we plant there isn't going to be competing with grass. So that's awesome. And then at about somewhere between 2 and 3 months, depending. And for these guys, I think by 2 months they'll be able to go outside, because the breasts I've been very impressed with how fast they've grown, how fast they've feathered, and they're chickens. That's the thing I love about these guys versus the Cornish.
Cornish, yes.
They're running around. They're hyper active. It's awesome. So what else do we have? What's next on the list? What else? I mean, there's really not much to brooding. You're keeping them warm. You're keeping them dry. Keep the bedding changed out. As far as feeding, I really like the metal. There's a removable tray top. It's a pyramid. It's got holes down it. Andrea couldn't figure out how it worked. True story.
Well, it is a true story, but it's because that one was old and janky.
That thing's 3 years old. You can buy them brand new. They're lovely. It's aluminum. As I talked about, I think in an earlier podcast, you want to buy the metal instead of the plastic, because your dog won't enjoy chewing on the metal nearly as much as they will the plastic one. And the top just slides off. You put the feed in there. You slide it back on. Waterers, we've done a whole bunch of different things. So if you have a small flock, Amazon does some really cool things. There are a couple bucks that go on quart jars, and they have wide mouth, small mouth. You can go either way. Waterers and feeders. For a small, if you're going to do 10 or less chicks,
Or a quail.
yeah, awesome. Cost, right? Easy to clean. If they break the bottle, it's not going to break you. We've got a gallon water in there right now with these guys, and
It's
then
like a bell shape.
yeah, and it just, the cool thing, I really like the way it fills up, because you take the entire bottom off, fill it up, put the entire bottom back on. You carry it that way, and then whenever you get to where you're going, you just flip it over, and there's not a lot of water waste. It's pretty simple. And then the next one will be, I've got a 3-gallon out in the shipping container.
Oh, and as they get older, you want to start putting everything up on blocks or
Cement,
bricks or something, because then it keeps the waste from the chicks out of the water and their food.
Right. And that's, I start them off with, we've got some cement, 12 inch by 12 inch by 1 or 2 inch, probably 1.5 inches, 1 3/4. Blocks that were left here. So as soon as they go in there, the first week, it's on that block, but I make sure there's a big corner where the chicks can get up in there. After the chicks hatch, put all their heads in that water, put their beaks in the water, because one of them's going to figure that out, and you just need one, out of whether it's 5 or 50. As soon as you have one that knows it needs to get a drink, the rest are going to imitate it, and all your problems are solved. There's really not a lot to this. Now, if your chicks are in a barn or someplace unsecured, you have to have a top on there. Later on, it'll be to keep the chicks in, but for the entire process when they're in there is to keep predators out. So, and whether that's snakes, which we didn't have at all up north, or mink, skunks,
raccoons.
Andrea really hates raccoons. It's
I
a
do.
violent. You don't know the darkness of her hate for the raccoons.
It's not really that bad. Jeez.
It's a jihad. Inshallah, she will kill all the raccoons for the rest of her life. But you're just keeping them safe. Chickens, don't overthink it. They are fairly
Resilient.
yeah, and they're easy to take care of. On the feed, just whatever the chick starter crumble. Definitely go with the crumble for the chicks. I think you're right. The more I think about it, the pellets for the older birds, because there's just less waste.
Mm-hmm.
But have something where the chicks can't get in and scratch around their feed, and then that's really it. You're gonna enjoy them. You can't go wrong. And if you do kill them, there's always more at Tractor Supply, or from your local farmer,
Or Atwoods.
or from us. We'll sell you. I mean, if you're really bad at it, it's great for our business. I mean, honestly. Your children, on the other hand, are going to be permanently scarred if you murder all your chickens.
And keep your toddlers away because they'll just George them.
Yeah, they will. Because it's unbelievable the grip strength that a toddler has and no sense of when to turn it on and off. Yeah, they're going to pop that head right off. It's going to go shooting across the room.
Oh my gosh, there is enough right there. Stop. Family friendly. Family friendly.
It's true. Hey, we had fun with this. Andrew just stares at it like she's in a hostage video the entire time. Were you doing Morse code with your eyes like send help? But thanks for listening, watching. Hopefully we'll get better at this. Production quality hopefully will go up, and I think we've improved. My ands and uhs have not improved a bit. It drives Andrea nuts. It bothers me a little bit, but
nobody needs to hear.
Beavis and Butthead made an entire career out of it. But we're gonna let you go. Thanks
I don't need to be butthead.
See, I'm trying to happy marriage. I'm not gonna comment.
But remember,
every day
is an opportunity
to learn something new.